Guys, looking at this team going forward, what do you think next season will look like for the Niagara Ice Dogs? Primarily, what do you think the strength of this team will be? Steve?
Well, I would hope that the strength of the team would be the continuing evolution and the continuing development of the young defensemen. Isaac Enright looked like he was playing heavy minutes last year in difficult situations and seemed to be pretty composed. Same with Giancarlo Shanton. Landon Cato, the other young defenseman, was in and out of the lineup at times, suffered some injury issues and things like that. So, there is a learning curve, I think, for him, but I'll go out on a limb and think that he could be that physical shutdown defenseman in the Ontario Hockey League that the Ice Dogs really haven't had in a long period of time. You add in the potential of, a Mason Howard, the young defenseman that they drafted. Maybe a Adrian Baraldo comes back as an overage defense. I think that's the strength of this team. And depending on how they address the goaltending, that could be a potential strength as well.
Yeah, I'm on team defense as well for their strength next year, simply because you've got these guys, you've got that extra year of development for both Landon Cato, Giancarlo Shanton, and Isaac Enright all in your lineup as 17-year-olds now. I think you're going to see Adrian Baraldo return. Dakota Betts has got another the full year under his belt now. Mason Howard will continue to eat pucks like nobody's business in front of the net, especially on the PK. So I think that defense is really set for the next bunch of years. And then, you add in the defensemen that they drafted, and there's not a lot of room back there. So I think that's got to be considered a strength when you don't have opportunity available for outside players other than that set group right there. That's got to be considered your strength. And hopefully Tucker Tynan can make a full return to the lineup, because then goaltending could be considered a strength as well. But again, there's so much question mark as to whether or not Tucker Tynan will be back and how soon he can be back.
So you both mentioned the D and you both mentioned goaltending. That leaves the weakness being the offense of this team. Where do you think the offense will come from next year? Steve?
Well, I think, one or two upgrade that offense, preferably in terms of the overage department or a veteran. You hope that, say, for example, two guys, Cameron Butler and Jake Uberti, continue to score. I mean, Jake Uberti became a pleasant surprise, particularly in the second half of the season. I believe he got to 17 goals and may have hit 20 at the season continued. Is that his kind of limit? We don't know, but maybe they can squeeze 5 to 10 more goals out of him. Cameron Butler, if he gets somebody to distribute him the puck, he could be a 30-goal guy. And then you're really hoping for, somebody to step up. Maybe it's an Anthony Agustinelli. Pano Fimis, you can't expect him to step in and be a star right away. He'll still need to find his footing in the league, but he will get an opportunity, likely in the top 6, to be able to build that ascension towards being a star. But that's where I kind of look. I mean, but it's such fool's gold, though, sometimes. Matt and Darren, you saw Jonah DeSimone lit it up in preseason last year. We thought, okay, we've got a guy who can score as a second-year forward, and then the goals dried up. And I think he did hit double figures by the end of the year, but that was about it. So they're going to struggle to score goals. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Billy Burke, the emphasis has to be on keeping the puck out of your net next year. That's how they're going to win hockey games. They're not going to be one of the more offensively talented teams in the league by far. But I do think, you look at it and Jake Uberti is going to take a step. Cam Butler will be fine. I think, I do believe Pano Fimis, I hate to put pressure on the guy, but he's going to get a lot of opportunity on this team. And quite frankly, could he put up Akil Thomas numbers in his rookie year? I would like to think that's entirely possible. We're not talking about a guy taken 17th overall in the first round. We're talking about a guy taken second overall who had 41 goals last year. So for me, I definitely think the opportunity for Pano Fimis to contribute in a Akil Thomas-like way his first year would be awfully pleasant for Niagara IceDogs fans as well.
So we see an improvement, guys, in the defense and in the goaltending. Do you think this team will have enough next year to make the playoffs? Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I do believe so. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, I think again, it's all about keeping the puck out of your net next year for the Niagara Ice Dogs, and I think they're going to do that well enough. Their guys will step up. Their younger guys will have that experience now, and they'll take that next step next year, that second year step. And I think depending on what overagers come in, depending on the import forward, there's still three spots up for grabs up front. So I think between those guys, there will be enough offense to get there as well. Don't ask me who misses though, because I can't answer that today.
Yeah, it's tough to take stock of the league right now. Just shortly after the draft has been completed, but 8 out of 10 teams in a conference make the playoffs. 16 out of 20 teams in the OHL make the playoffs. So I would think that yes, the Niagara Ice Dogs would qualify for the playoffs. Would I put them in a lower seed? Yes, I would put them in a lower seed. They simply don't have enough scoring, as we've talked about, guys, consistently to be one of those upper echelon teams. But yes, I think with the defense, I think the goaltending will work itself out. And I'm going to look for a surprise or two at forward, a guy who we won't expect to maybe step up and produce at a level that we didn't think was capable. I'm not talking about a guy who's going to get 40 goals, but like, say, a Cameron Peters, who they got at the trade deadline. Big, speedy forward, hasn't been known for scoring in the league. Maybe with him being 100% healthy and coming back, that he may be able to chip in 15 to 20 goals and be one of those pleasant surprises.